All right, Miss Lovely here. I wanted to do a quick tutorial on a fun activity that you can do with your children. It's something that they can also do independently, and it's another way to recycle slash upcycle and repurpose artwork that's already been created by your children and just kind of stacks. What I'm going to show you briefly is how to create a mosaic using recycled and repurposed artwork. I just have a piece of cardboard. This particular cardboard is the consistency of the back of a cereal box if you choose to cut that, or also you can use a sturdy paper. The goal is that you want to have a material that will support the glue and the creation that you are making. So what I've decided to do is create a flower or a floral design. You can do anything that you want. You could create a sailboat, you could create a butterfly, you could create a beach scene. I just like the idea of a flower because I can manage it better. And you know when you begin and when you end. So what I want you to think about is you can use magazine depending on what you're creating, but looking at the color schemes that you want to use, you can use magazine. Again, you can use repurposed artwork. I'm using some artwork that I actually love that was created by myself and some friends, but I love the color palette here, so I'm using pieces of this to create my flower here. And this was a longer sheet, so you can tell that I've already begun the process of creating a mosaic with this particular piece of art. And again, you can cut it and use only the colors that you like within that painting, so you don't have to use the whole piece of art. You can just use portions of it as well. But what I would encourage is, depending on the background that you're using, is to go ahead and sketch it out, and then you can build within that. So like I said, drew my flower. I just used a Sharpie. Originally I wanted to do like a sunflower, but then I looked at the colors on my paper and I thought I didn't have enough yellow, so I just used the yellow for the center of my flower. The key with creating a mosaic type paper art piece is that, different from collage, you don't have to layer the paper or have it close together. You can allow spaces between each of your pieces, and that really creates like a grid type of feel to the artwork, which that's what makes it a mosaic. It's just a combination of little pieces together, not completely touching, but that create like a complete picture. So again, I've just used pieces of this artwork for my petals, and you can still see the background of the cardboard there, and that's okay because that's going to serve as the barrier. That's going to serve as the grid pattern that we're looking for. Again, I used pieces of the picture for the yellow, and you can still see parts of the cardboard between there. And I've slowly been making my way around to the the petals, and I have two more that are left. So I'm just going to show you quickly right here. Let's see if you can see this. I've already cut up pieces, and they're different colors, different shades, but I still want to stick with the same. I apologize, they're doing some work outside, so you might hear that going on, but I knew I needed to do the video now. I didn't have time to change the rooms. But I know I want to keep with the same color palette of this pink, different shades of pink and purple. So I'm going to still cut those types of pieces off of the painting that I have. So I have a brush here, and I just have a little plate of glue. And what I like to do, and it depends on how big of a surface area you're trying to cover, but what I like to do is add glue already on like the area that I want to glue the paper to. It's good to try to have it pre-cut in advance as best you can, and then if you need to reshape it, you can just give it a little trim. But based on how big the surface area is, you can put a little bit of glue, and then you can just begin to glue on your little pieces and strips of paper there. Again, you want to make sure that you're not making them completely touch. You want to leave some space in between there. You can decide how wide you want the space to be, but it's good to not have it too big, just enough so you can tell that they should go together, but they don't have to touch. Because the beautiful thing about mosaics, once you stand away from them and you stand back, the whole picture kind of comes together as one. Even though you might be looking at it and you're like, oh, I feel these spaces, I see these spaces, it all comes together when you back up. And when you give yourself distance between a piece of art and yourself, you may have noticed it with, if you've been to a museum and you look at certain types of paintings, they might have a rope or something that doesn't allow you to get right up on the painting. They might want you to stand at a certain distance. And if you find that, that's called the vantage point. And that's the point where you stand, where the picture comes together and makes the most sense. That's kind of like how I like to define it. So when you stand back from your painting, you have a different interpretation or impression of it than when you're right up on it. Sometimes you can't see it, the picture as clearly as you can when you back up. So that's all you do. You glue little pieces of paper together to fill in the area that you want to fill in. You don't have them touch. If you want, you can kind of trim it up a little bit so that it has a nicer fit, but you also don't have to do that either if you don't want to. And this is a very simple and fun mosaic paper project that is great for any age. Depending on the age, you can get very elaborate and detailed with it, or it could be very simple and very process-based, depending on the age of the child, where they're mainly just enjoying the experience of cutting, gluing, piecing together, and creating a work of art. All right, I'm excited to see if anyone works on this today or anytime this week. Please share to Miss Lovely's page on Facebook, which is Lovely Art Studios if you want, or you can have your parent message me a picture and then I can post it. All right, thank you so much. Take care. Have a beautiful day. Bye-bye.